Good morning, dear colleagues and my dear students. We are discussing about your 17th lesson, Independent India in first 30 years in between 1947 and 1977. Out of that, we discussed two important topics in the previous classes. So today we shall discuss the rise of regional parties and regional movements throughout India. So, from today's topic, we are expecting some learning outcomes from you. So, they are we shall look into those learning outcomes. Okay, by watching and listening this particular lesson, you will be able to understand why Congress defeated in 1967 elections in many states, and you will be able to analyze results of economic reforms after independence. You will be able to find reasons why coalition governments were failed. You will be identify causes for Jammu and Kashmir issue, and you will be appreciate the role of India in the formation of Bangladesh. So we are expecting these learning outcomes from you. So with this, we shall get into. Okay, in the last two classes, we discussed how Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri drive the nation towards social and economic development. And also, under the leadership of Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri, the independent India overcome few challenges or the important crisis. Okay, in the today's class, we shall discuss what were the important reasons for the rise of regional parties and some of the important regional movements throughout the nation. Unfortunately, Lal Bahadur Shastri was died in 1966 in Tashkent. Only 2 years after his rule, he died. So he was succeeded by Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister immediately after his death. So within 1 year, within no time, elections were held for Lok Sabha, and Congress went to the elections under the leadership of Indira Gandhi. So 1967 elections were considered as the landmark in the Indian history. Why? Why? Because Congress defeated in many states in these elections, 1967 elections, and also it came to the power with the lowest majority. A party required 272 seats to form government at central level. The Congress got 284 seats only. With less margin, Congress came to power. In the previous elections, in the 52, 57, 62 elections, Congress came to power with massive majorities under the leadership of Nehru. But whereas in 1967 elections, Congress was defeated in majority and bigger states, and it came to power in the central level with slight majority. What were the reasons for this particular change? As we discussed, the government introduced socio-economic reforms throughout the nation. So, by 10 years of implementation of reforms, the economic changes gave result by that time. So, some were positively affected by the reforms, and some were badly and negatively affected by the reforms. The affected people means the gainers and the losers of the economic reforms. They participated, they influenced the results of the elections, they changed the pattern of political competition. Means the badly affected people, they organized against the Congress. So that was the important change took place. And defeated in many states, the Congress party lost its power in many states, particularly Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Gujarat, and some other states. So this was considered as the first political transition. Means the Congress was considered as the power center in India up to before 1967 elections. But the role or the single party dominance in India of Congress party was slowly changed towards the multi-party system. This was one of the landmark change that we can observe in the 1967 elections. 1967 elections, they gave a scope for the political transition. We already told it. The democracy moved from single party dominance stage to multi-party system. Before 1967 elections, Indian political system was dominated by Congress party. All other parties were very minor in Lok Sabha and in other states also. But by 1967 elections, it turned to multi-party system. Many political parties in different states, they got prominence. That was the one of the transition change took place after 1967 elections. But there was a positive thing. When we cannot observe in other countries, we can observe only in India, particularly in the effective democratic nations. The defeated party did not stick to the power. It allowed victors to form the government. Though the Congress was in power for 15 years, but it did not stick to power. It allowed the victors who won the elections in different states. Congress party allowed them to form their governments. That was the, it showed the democracy had taken roots in India. That is the beauty of the democracy, we can say. Means we can say that the independent India, the leadership of first 30 years, they got success in the implementation of effective democratic system in India. Okay, how the power position changed in states? What were the results of 1967 elections changed politics in different states? In Tamil Nadu, DMK party, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam party won elections with a huge margin, huge majority. Why? What was the reason? We already learnt in the last class. Anti-Hindi movement first raised in Tamil Nadu. It affected on Congress party. So the anti-Hindi movement challenged Congress party. Even Congress was also divided into pro-Hindi and anti-Hindi camps. Next, the DMK party has relationship with film industry, Tamil film industry. The party galvanized or gathered the M.G. Ramchandran, who was a well-known hero. His fans were gathered and they consolidated his fans, and that led to the defeat of Congress, and DMK won with huge margin. And not only Tamil Nadu and other states in South India, particularly Kerala. The Congress lost Kerala and West Bengal, Odisha. Particularly in Kerala and West Bengal, the CPM party led left fronts came to the power, and like that of in Odisha. So another important result of the 1967 elections was that the results weakened the Congress party internally. Because Indira Gandhi just captured the power, she did not get control over the party and the nation. So that reflected on the internal strength of the Congress party also. It showed the results weakened the Congress party internally. Next, another important result of this 1967 elections was that it gave scope for the coalition governments. In some states, Congress was replaced by Samyukta Vidayak Dal governments, SVD governments. Means Samyukta Vidayak Dal was not a political party. It was the combination of some political parties like Janasangh, the present BJP, Socialists, Swatantra Party, and some other local parties in different states. The Congress In some states, Congress became the majority party, but they did not get sufficient seats to form government. So automatically, the opposition parties they came and pull up with different political parties, and even with Congress defectors, means some of the leaders in Congress party to enjoy power, they jumped from Congress to this SVD coalition group, and these SVD coalition groups form government in different states, particularly in Uttar Pradesh, in Gujarat, in that process. So the result was that in some the coalition politics became one of the phenomena in Indian democratic system. Here, the combination of different political parties, though their ideologies were different, and they pull up with one ideology to attain power against the Congress party. That became their main agenda, and they were supported by the Congress defectors. The people who want to be retain power, they joined with this SVD coalition, and they formed the governments. Another important result of the 1967 elections was that the caste dominance was increased in the politics. As we discussed, the economic reforms and land reforms were introduced all over the nation. Some castes in different parts of the country, they gained economically. They were benefited with the economical or land reforms. So automatically they entered into politics, and they gained the political power. That was one of the important phenomena with and after 1967 elections. For example, Jat caste in Haryana and UP, Kurmis caste in Bihar, Lodhs in Madhya Pradesh, Yadavas in all the states, Reddy and Kamma caste in Andhra Pradesh, Vakaliga caste in Karnataka, Vellala caste in Tamil Nadu. These all castes were gained with the land reforms and economic reforms, and they were benefited with those reforms. Economically, they were strengthened. They attained political power, and they dominated the different state politics. That was the one of the important phenomena or change came after 1967 elections. Next, as we discussed, SVD governments were formed in different states. It was not a single party. SVD means Samyukta Vidayak Dal was the combination of different political parties like Janasangh and Socialists and some defectors from Congress party. They formed the governments, but they were short-lived. Means the governments did not continue for the 5 years term, because due to the internal disturbances between the parties and the shellfish politics of those local politics, the governments were short-lived and they did not complete the full term. Why? Because these political parties have no similar ideology. The political parties have different ideologies. Only they gathered, they pulled up only to attain power. Their main agenda was the corruption and the defections. Defection means representatives of one political party, they win elections in favor of one party and jumping into other party is called as defection. So the jumping into other parties was started only after 1967 elections. They defected only purely with their own selfish ideology and for the corruption. The corruption became rampant after 1967 elections itself. So their main agenda was only power. So power only united these political parties. There was no agenda of beneficiating common people or for the progress of the country or state was not the agenda. Their main agenda was only attaining power. So nothing. So they automatically they had nothing to show. They had nothing to concentrate on the administration or welfare of the state. They internally they quarreled among themselves to attain power and the purpose of corruption and these all. So the selfish ideology and the selfish thinking of these political parties, they got power under the SVD government. So they did not continue long. They were this type of experiments were end within less time. Another important topic, regional movements. During 1967, in between 1967-1970, there were some regional movements raised in different parts of the country with different demands. For example, a movement was raised in Andhra Pradesh with a demand for separation of Telangana. The movement was led by scholars and the students of Usmania University, Hyderabad. Because what was the purpose of the movement? The students, particularly Usmania University students, they argued that the developmental benefits of the 20 years of the independent India were reaching to only the people of few regions. Means the regional disparities, the developmental, the share from the benefits of the developments were reaching to the few regions. Particularly in Telangana, the youth were not getting jobs. The employment only were they confined to other regions. So the frustrated youth, they demanded for the separate state of Telangana. So after another movement in Assam, that is separate Meghalaya. So as it was a long-lasting demand, Meghalaya was created in 1969 from Assam. It comprising of three tribal districts: Kasi, Jaintia, and Garo Hills. This was one of the important. Next, another movement, a regional movement took place in Punjab. The people organized a series of demonstrations. Their main demand was asking Chandigarh as their capital, because the government fixed Chandigarh as the capital of both Punjab and Haryana. But the people of Punjab, they demanded Chandigarh as their own capital. They were not interested to share the capital with Haryana. So that's why they demanded for the single capital for Punjab. This movement took place in between 1969 and 1968 and 69. Next movement, another movement, important one was that took place in Maharashtra. The demand of the movement was Bombay for Maharashtrians only. This movement was led by political party Shiva Sena. Their target was South Indians, because their demand was that the employment and the other benefits in Bombay were maximum enjoying over the South Indians, but the Maharashtrians were not getting benefits or employment in Bombay. So that's why they started a demand Bombay for Maharashtrians only. If you observe these movements rised in different parts of the country because it became 20 years after the independence. The goals and aspirations of the people were not achieved at minimum level. So with that frustration and unrest, that led to the movements in different parts of the country. In some areas like in Andhra Pradesh and in Maharashtra, for the purpose of employment and for the purpose of jobs. And in regional movements like in Meghalaya and Punjab, for the purpose of capital city or separate state movements like that. So the important phenomena was that regional movements were raised after 20 years of independence. That was due to not fulfillment of the aspirations of the people, that we can conclude. Along with regional movements, the communal riots also took place in different places of the country, particularly in the highly sensitive areas like Ranchi in Bihar, Ahmedabad in Gujarat, Jalgaon in Maharashtra, Aligarh in Uttar Pradesh. These communal riots took place, but it was the difficult time to the new leadership, both in central level and in the states, because the political transition took place just in 1967. The new leadership was emerged, they came to the power, they did not have sufficient experience, and even the new leadership not yet equipped to handle the situation. But we can say the leadership in different parts of the states and at the center level, they try to handle these sensitive situations effectively with the administrative organs. Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister then after 1967, she led Congress party during elections. She was surrounded with different problems, the regional movements, the communal riots, the effects of economic reforms. Next one was due to defeat in the elections, the internal problems with the own congressmen. But Indira Gandhi, as a Prime Minister, she took up those challenges. She tried to suppress those challenges or crises. To overcome those challenges, she took complete left turn. She took drastic and radical decisions, because she wanted to create a new social base of her own. She tried to establish her own. That's why she took some important decisions, gave some important promises to the people. Why the analysts analyzed why the Congress party defeated in the 1967 elections? Because the Congress did not fulfill the old promises. The Congress party gave promises during 52, 57, 62 elections. They gave promises that the benefits of the development, the fruits of the development will reach towards the common masses of the people. But it did not fulfill, it did not achieve that share. Development of share, and it did not fulfill the promises. Particularly the social and economical development did not took place, and the fruits did not reach to the people. Elections. Yet, though the Congress did not fulfill the old promises, but the Indira Gandhi she became ready to give new promises. In that process, for the next election, she gave the slogan Garibi Hatao, means removal of poverty. The poorer sections who were frustrated and unrest due to this poverty, and they became against to the Congress party. So to attract such sections, she gave the slogan Garibi Hatao, or removal of poverty. And some other promises were also given. But the old promises were retained, and again she gave another promise. So these promises affected, and because the people had more expectations on Indira Gandhi, she will achieve the social and economical development, she will remove the poverty. But actually that did not happen even after the 10 years of her promise. So that's why that affected, that pressurized her to impose emergency situation in India. And in that situation we discussed later. But we can say that Indira Gandhi effectively dealt with those challenges and crises during her times. The government, along with the internal disturbances and regional movements, it also experienced the external crisis or external challenges. One of that was war with Pakistan in the year 1971, which resulted in the formation of Bangladesh. We shall discuss about how and why India interfered in that issue. As we know, during the time of independence, India divided into two nations, India and Pakistan. The Pakistan consists of both West Pakistan and East Pakistan. East Pakistan was the present Bangladesh, which was once part of Bengal, that was East Bengal. Later, after independence, it became the East Pakistan. Presently, it is Bangladesh. But the Pakistan consists of both East and West. They have the cultural differences. Though the majority people were Muslims, the cultural differences was there in between the people of West Pakistan and East Pakistan. Generally, the West Pakistan tried to dominate the East Pakistan, and it showed stepmother treatment on East Pakistan. It did not considered equal along with it. So the people of East Pakistan, as they have Bengal identity, the people of Bengal who started a freedom struggle against the division of bifurcation of Bengal into East and West Bengal, as you remember. So they started protest against the discrimination of West Pakistan towards the people of East Pakistan. At that time, due to their local sentiments were roused among the people of East Pakistan. So immediately the elections were held during that particular time. In that elections, the local leader Mujibur Rahman party won the elections against the West Pakistan parties. So the West Pakistan did not transfer the power to the Mujibur Rahman, and it arrested him and taken to the West Pakistan. So the movement against the West Pakistan increased. So West Pakistan tried to suppress the movement. It instead of starting negotiations, it tried to suppress the movement with military. Military repressions started and began on East Pakistan against the movements. So the people who were suffered with these military suppressions, they streamed to India for the food and shelter. So due to the internal civil war between the East and West Pakistan, due to internal struggle, it was affected India also. So slowly the movement started against the West Pakistan. It turned as the liberation movement. The people of East Pakistan, they demand for the separate nation of Bangladesh, and they asked for the assistance and support of India also. So as India was also affected with this internal disturbance, it also accepted to support. So slowly the issue was turned into war in between India and Pakistan. Naturally, Pakistan was defeated and India got victory, and it supported the establishment of a new nation, which after came to be called as Bangladesh. So in the formation of new nation Bangladesh, India interfered in the internal affairs of Pakistan. But as India was the leader of non-aligned movement, it has a prominence in the international politics. So with that, it convinced the international powers like USSR and USA, and it had made them not to involve in this affair, and it used also military strength. So with that, both the military strength and its position in the international affairs, it dealt with the Bangladesh issue, and it supported the formation of Bangladesh. Another important challenge faced by independent India was Jammu and Kashmir issue. It was a long-lasting issue. Accession or the merging of Jammu Kashmir princely state into India was a different issue than that of other states. As we know, immediately after independence, the 550 princely states were accessed to Indian Union or merged in Indian Union, except two or three princely states. One of that was Jammu and Kashmir princely state. The ruler Har Singh of Jammu and Kashmir, he did not want to join either in Indian Union or in Pakistan. He wanted to remain independent. Actually, the social composition was somewhat different in Jammu and Kashmir. The ruler Har Singh was Hindu, but the majority people in Jammu and Kashmir were Muslims. So at that time, during 1947 itself, under the leadership of Sheikh Abdullah, he organized a popular movement with the banner All Jammu and Kashmir Muslim Conference. Under this banner, Sheikh Abdullah organized popular movements. The main demand of the movement was they demanded for greater representation of Muslims in government employment, because the Maharaja discriminated towards Muslims, as they thought he was discriminated towards Muslims, and he was not giving opportunity for the Muslims in government employment. And they also demanded for the representative government. Though many states and countries, though they were under the monarchy, they were establishing representative governments, but the Jammu Kashmir king wanted to remain and he wanted to establish his monarchy. So the people under the Jammu and Kashmir Muslim Conference, they demanded for the representative government. Means initially the movement started with the demand of more employment for Muslims. Slowly it turned as the representative government movement. So the movement was renamed as National Conference. The National Conference, as it demanded for the representative government. So automatically it was supported by other community people also. The Hindus and Sikhs in different parts of Jammu and Kashmir were also joined in this movement that became the National Conference. This National Conference has secularistic feelings. It is somewhat similar with the Congress party ideology. So in future course, National Conference led the people's movement in the issue of Jammu and Kashmir. At that time, while the national movement was going on under the leadership of National Conference, within 1947 itself, Jammu and Kashmir faced external invasion from west side by Rajakars with the support of Pakistan. Pakistan had its eye on Jammu and Kashmir. It tried to access it into Pakistan. So the local tribal people, Rajakars, Pakistan army supported Rajakars, and they tried to invade Jammu and Kashmir. Almost all the Rajakars and supported by Pakistan army, they reached near to Srinagar. At that time, the Maharaja was unable to control that situation. He requested India for its support. But India put a condition that if India supported Jammu and Kashmir, the Maharaja should access Jammu and Kashmir to India. That was the condition. Maharaja accepted for that. If they supported, he accepted to access Jammu and Kashmir to India. And there were series of concessions were also given to the Maharaja. and for the representatives of people. So the Indian government, it made agreement with Sheikh Abdullah, the leader of National Conference, which was called as Delhi Agreement. As per that agreement, the Kashmiris will considered as the citizens of India, and as it has cultural, ethnic separate cultural these things, Indian government accepted to give greater autonomy to Kashmiris, except military, external affairs, um, information and broadcasting, finance, affairs. Except these all, in remaining all aspects, Indian government accepted the autonomy of the Jammu and Kashmir government. So this particular autonomy, other states did not have such autonomy. So the autonomy was special provisions were given to Kashmir only. These classes of the Delhi Agreement, which held in between Indian government and Sheikh Abdullah, the clauses of the agreements were placed in Article 370 while in the Indian Constitution, so which was called as the 370 article. It was confined to the Jammu and Kashmir. After the Delhi Agreement between the Indian government and National Conference, India involved in the Jammu and Kashmir issue. It started Operation Bison, and Indian Army occupied almost all majority areas which were occupied over by the Rajakars with the support of Pakistan Army. At that time, before the occupation of complete Jammu and Kashmir by Indian Army, the issue was put before the UNO, United Nations Organization. So UNO involved in between. So it convinced the two nations for the ceasefire, stopping of war. So in between, after the ceasefire, status quo was continued, which was later continued as line of control. So the issue was still at UNO table. So it was still unsettled. It was considered as unsettled issue between the Pakistan and India. Apart from the external issues, what happened internally? Jammu Kashmir, there was a social and economical changes took place after independence or after 1950. As one of the important economic reform, land ceiling was also implemented in Jammu and Kashmir. Due to that land ceiling, most of the Hindu landlords, they lost their land. Automatically, the poor Muslims got benefited through the redistribution of lands. So slowly, the economic division, the land ceiling effect, it turned into took the religious part, it acquired the religious tone. Some of the shellfish forces, they gained benefit from this religious gap. They try to increase the gap between the both Hindus and as things were going on, slowly the issue in the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, turned as the religious issue. At the same time, the central government, against its promises given to the Jammu and Kashmir people as per the Delhi Agreement, in between 1950 to 1990, lot of times it tried to made attempts to reduce the autonomy of Kashmir. It tried to modify the Article 370 as per the demands of the other political parties and other states. As the people and the critics, they demanded that when all states are equal for central government or union, why the special provisions for Kashmir has provided. So they demanded those provisions has to be abolished. So with the force of those demands, central government tried to reduce one by one the special autonomy given to the Jammu and Kashmir people. So these attempts were caused severe reaction among the Kashmiri people as they were enjoying autonomy. they reacted negatively against the attempts of central government. Slowly, it turned as a movement against the central government. Central government was failed in providing security among the people. So the people of Jammu and Kashmir, they felt insecure with the attempts made by Jammu and central government, and they started a movement. Slowly, this movement turned as a liberation movement. The demand became the independent Kashmir. Instead of demanding autonomy, instead of continuing of autonomy for Jammu and Kashmir, it gradually it became the independent Kashmir demand after 1990s. So as we already discussed, it turned into a religious issue, and it was supported by Pakistan from externally. As the Kashmir consists of major Muslim people and minority Hindu people, and it became it tried to create religious conflicts between those two groups, as minority people, Hindus, were forced to migrate from Kashmir Valley. So this another led to the total situation in Jammu and Kashmir, led to unrest among the people, and this unrest it supported the Pakistan also. But in the year 2019, the present central government abolished the Article 370 and the special autonomy provided to the Jammu and Kashmir, and also it separated the Jammu and Kashmir. It abolished the status of state to Jammu and Kashmir, and it separated as two union territories. Now Jammu and Kashmir state was divided into two union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. This was the internal situation, internal crisis in Jammu and Kashmir. But in regarding external issues, the basically India led war with Pakistan 3 times, 4 times on this Kashmir issue. But the issue on the borders of Kashmir was still unsolved and unsettled. The issue was before the United Nations organization. Okay, dear students, till now today we discussed the political changes that took place in India in between after 1967, and how the central and state governments faced the challenges like regional movements, religious riots, and war with Pakistan on Bangladesh issue, and how central government dealt with the Jammu and Kashmir issue. Okay, then you try to recapitulate the important concepts and try to get the answers for these concepts. What were the changes happened in India and in all over the states in after 1967 elections? As we discussed, due to economical reforms, new castes came to the political power, coalition governments came to existence. Next, single party dominance was disappeared and multi-party system was appeared. Like that, right, the changes happened. Change of governments in states as a result of 1967 elections. How the power was changed from Congress party to Congress party defeated and other parties came to power in different states. Coalition politics and SVD governments. Coalition politics means establishment of government with the combination of different political parties. Samyukta Vidayak Dal, on the name of SVD, the coalition governments were formulated after 1967 elections. Try to write about that. Regional movements. Why the regional movements raised during in between 65 to 70? Next, how India involved in the formation of Bangladesh, how it dealt with the war with Pakistan. Next, how the central government dealt with the Jammu and Kashmir crisis. So try to get answers for this. Once or twice you go through the textbook, read the lesson, underline the important concepts. If you get any doubts, ask your teacher. With this, I will conclude today's lesson.